One thing the U.S. Congress is good at doing is jamming totally unrelated issues that they want to hide from the light of day in unrelated bills. And today I'm going to share with you one that affects your retirement. Hi, I'm Andrew Henderson. This is Nomad Capitalist, where we help 7- and 8-figure entrepreneurs and investors legally go where you're treated best. You can learn more at nomadcapitalist.com. And one of our readers sent in an article, it's a couple months old, from Forbes that says, hidden in the reconciliation bill, a retirement plan mandate that will take most people by surprise. Now, I've seen this talked about by a few people on YouTube. I have not seen if this made it into the final version. This is not a political show. But whether it made it in or not, and I believe that it did, but whether it did or not, what I always tell you is, what the politicians are trying to jam in is of concern, whether they jam it in today, or they jam it in tomorrow, or they jam it in next year. Once it is out there, once it's in the ecosystem, I believe a lot of this stuff eventually does see the light of day. And this is an article from Elizabeth Bauer, who says, readers, I am embarrassed to admit that a radical change to our retirement system tucked into the Build Back Better budget reconciliation bill wholly escaped my notice until just recently. As explained by Ashley Ebling, also at Forbes, under the proposal, starting in 2023, employers with 5 or more employees would have to offer a retirement plan and automatically enroll employees, diverting 6% of their pay to a retirement account. An automatic escalation clause would increase the automatic contribution to 10% of pay by year 5. The default plan would be a Roth IRA invested in a target date fund, a mix of investments based on your expected retirement year. For employers, it's a mandate. They would have to offer the plans. Employees would be able to opt out. Now, I'm gonna get to the punchline at the very end of this, but let's take it as it goes. Basically, if you have 5 or more employees, and one thing that I hear, by the way, when I'm talking to people who have businesses is, no, I don't have employees, I have independent contractors. I'm sure they'll cover that, right? If someone works 40 hours a week and you tell them what to do, they're your employee. They're not an independent contractor. But if you have 5 or more employees, they're going to basically push you to offer a default Roth IRA that invests the money that you'll take out of the paycheck of your employees, and it will put it into a target date mutual fund. And the employees can opt out. I suppose there'll be all kinds of new regulations about how you need to educate them about that and basically do the job the public school system didn't do. Maybe if the public school system that you've been paying all this money for all these years taught people how to save and invest and prepare for the future and not rely on the bankrupt Social Security system for their future, then people would be coming and investing their own money and you wouldn't have to take extra time out of your day to do it. But in the world where the government is incompetent, the government poorly educates people, they will make it your job as if you didn't have enough to do running your business. Now you've got to add this in, you've got to deal with the expense, you have to hire someone to handle it, so you can take money out of people's paychecks that they may or may not understand, is it leaving, where's it going, what's happening? More work for you. For employers, it's a mandate. They would have to offer the plans. Employees will be able to opt out. For employers who already offer a 401k or similar plan, nothing would change. This is targeted at smaller employers who do now not such offer any plan and perhaps lack the means with which to implement a plan. I added that last part. In some respects, this would be similar to the auto-enrollment plans now in operation or under implementation in Oregon, California, Illinois, and other bastions of freedom. In Oregon, for example, employees are defaulted into participation in a state-managed IRA, starting at a contribution level of 5% and increasing to 10%, but with employees able to adjust their contribution or reject contributing entirely. But there are crucial differences. In the first place, under the federal mandate, employers will be obliged to select a specific IRA in which to enroll their employees. More work for you, rather than merely forwarding payroll deductions to the state. It appears they would choose from a list of approved providers. Doesn't sound so positive. Second, the various state programs have had extended phase-ins. The federal mandate applies to all employees with 5 or more employees from day one, and there appears to be no analysis of how it would be for these small employers to do so. Of course not. Of course not. You can judge a country by how they treat their employers because, I know if you're living in the LinkedIn soup of what I call the employees lounge, where everyone just sits around on LinkedIn bashing employers, you might think, hey, to hell with these people. But, if I'm running a country, I want to attract employers because I realize in today's economy where people are working remotely and more and more people around the world speak English and all that, if I'm an employer, and I am an employer, I want to go where I'm treated best. I want to hire the best talent. I don't want to be sticking around for governments who are going to mandate stuff and not consider whether I'm able to handle it. I think there's enough regulations in the United States that people with 5 employees don't need more to do. But again, public school system never taught anybody how to save or invest or do math or prepare for their future. They just taught government dependence. So now it's your job to fix. The program also requires employers must choose not just any IRA, but only those in which there's an option to convert the account balance into an annuity at retirement. It also continues to be the case that workers are being nudged into 10% of pay contribution without any useful guidance as to what the right savings level is for their personal circumstances. Given the progressive level of Social Security benefits, which replace a far greater percentage of pay for lower income earners than middle or upper income earners, there's no one size fit all. Okay. And it goes on and on and on about this new requirement that employers are going to need to participate in. Now, the person who sent this article to me shared an interesting idea, which was the government will force employees, or at least nudge, as the article says. And again, how many of these people are paying attention? You ever listen to any of these financial shows? I've listened to many over the years, whether it was Susie Orman back in the day, Dave Ramsey, whomever. You listen to these podcasts. People call in, people are talking, people are sending emails. They don't know what's coming out of their check. I mean, people don't even know how much money they make in some cases. You think everyone's going to know where their money is going into? So you're basically forcing employees at the government level into this Roth without really asking them. They said you can opt out. Some people will. And then the suggestion from the reader who sent this in was, well, now that, once they have more piles of money put into these retirement accounts, then they can come after taxing, quote unquote, high value Roths. Now, I don't know how many people who are going to be forced to put money into this new system are going to have a high value Roth, although certainly high value declines over time. I mean, you start out with a wealth tax on the evil billionaires, and before you know it, you're taxing anyone with $20 million, $10 million, whatever. My thought has been for some time, you have in the United States, retirement accounts is the greatest untapped pool of wealth that is just sitting there. And we've had commenters recently talking about it, what they did in Hungary, where they just came and, hey, we'll take that, and we'll pay you back later, don't worry. Other countries have done the same. And so if you look at what governments, including European governments, have done in recent years, it's we're broke, we need money. Hey, you know what? You're not retiring now. We'll borrow this from you. And what could happen? Well, they could force you to force everyone to put their money into treasuries. They could force everyone to, give up their assets. I mean, it would be the same kind of dumb concept as implementing a wealth tax and then being shocked when people are selling their stocks. But, could the government do that? And then say, hey, we're going to take your stuff. Don't worry, we'll give you more money in Social Security. Oh yeah, we're taking 30 grand from you, but we'll give you an extra $50 a month. Don't worry, because they're such great stewards of your money over there. And so the idea here, the thing that the commenter or the reader didn't mention, was my comment that this is just what small employers need in a highly regulated country, more stuff to do. I'm not saying don't give your employees benefits. I'm not saying don't do any of that. I'm saying why is the government forcing you to do it? Because I'll tell you what, you come and look at our company. We have a lot of people who are younger. We've sometimes asked, hey, we asked, do you want to have a retirement plan? And people said, just give us some extra money. We don't want to. We were going to go through all the hassle of setting up some of these accounts, and it's a lot more difficult in some of the countries where we are, where you don't just have, Roths and 401ks out of the box. It's not nearly as easy. And I imagine people who have remote workforces worldwide are seeing that now. but nobody was really that interested at last check. Right? And so maybe people just want to be paid more. Now, I understand this is the employee's money, but that's the first issue. Why are employers being forced to do this when maybe it's not of benefit to them? They can't afford to handle it. They don't have the staff, whatever. But on top of that, I always said when I lived in the United States, I didn't put my money in there because to me it seemed like the bottomless pit. You put your money in a retirement account and you have no control over it unless you want to pay taxes, you want to pay penalties for a long, long time. And who knows what the rules they can come up with between now and then. And so with more people putting money into retirement accounts under this potential plan, that seems to me like an even greater enticement to say, you know what, we're going to declare retirement accounts, fill in the blank. Don't stop now. We've got well over 1,000 more videos here on YouTube for you to watch and learn how to go where you're treated best. And if you want to work with Nomad Capitalist personally, go to nomadcapitalist.com/apply, learn about our unique, tried and true process, garnered over years of experience, and learn how you can become our client.